Super Rugby Power Rankings, folks, for round number 10. My Blues have got an interesting spot on the Power Rankings this week. I'm probably going to have to apologise for that early. It's just the way the numbers have come out. I promise I didn't put them as high as I planned to. But we'll start with the bottom. We'll work our way to the top. You guys can let us know your thoughts on which sides you think are in the best form as we head into the tail end of the competition. The Drua, despite their win, still come out in 11th in the power rankings. They got the 2 wins now. Wins in Lautoka over the Chiefs and the Tars, 28-14, pretty comfortably enough. Still 2-7 is at least 1 win behind the next best teams. And Moana Pacifica, these guys are both in the same spots as last week. They got pretty well hammered by the Brumbies at home. And Pukekohe, despite, some early chances in that game, they couldn't convert. They got nilled at home, which is not a great one. They were without Adi Savia. He does seem to lift the side, but yeah, they're a little bit of a kind of a mid-season resurgence, has been put back down with a couple of losses. Now, 9th is the Landers. They copped another loss, having beaten the Drua last week. They went to the Chiefs country and got pretty well beaten. So down 1 spot on the power rankings are the Landers with that 46-10 loss. Heck of a second half to concede a bunch of points. 1 win from their last 6, I think, which is not a great look. And then maybe a little bit of a surprise package, and I'm sorry to do this to you, Tars, but the Tars have come out in 8th. These guys are in the playoffs on the actual table, but the power rankings are saying 8th spot. I mean, for context, these guys have the second worst points difference of all of the teams in Super Rugby. Only the Drua have a worse points difference. And they just lost to the Drua, who are the bottom side. Power rankings takes into account home and away. It doesn't take into account the Lautoka factor compared to Suva, but pretty well hammered by the bottom side means the the Tars are down 2 spots. So kind of erasing some of that good work they'd done against the Chiefs the week before. So I guess the recent form's not that great. Couple of bad losses in New Zealand, win over the Chiefs at home, and then back on the road loss. They won from their last 4. Maybe that's fair, and a pretty bad points difference, like I said. The Canes are up 2 out of the bottom row with their draw against the Force. I've given them a bit of a credit against the Force because it was away. And the Force are a relatively highly ranked side in this year's Super Rugby. So, yeah, despite the fact they'll be gutted that they couldn't get a win, they had a bunch of momentum and chances and whatnot on that game. It's a draw, so they've still got to get something from it. And then somehow the Blues have come out in 6th. Like I said, I apologise for this. Prior to this week, they had 2 wins on the bounce, which boosted them up a bit, and they just lost to the top side away by less than a try. So I've not punished, they've not been dropped much. Like it's a loss, but it's only been given as a kind of small punishment for that loss, if you know what I mean. You'd be punished more if you lost to the Drua than the Crusaders, just on the way things are standing right now. That's the kind of way the power rankings work. Will the Blues make the playoffs? I don't know, but they're in 6th for the moment. On the actual log, they are still out of the playoffs. They've only got 3 wins all season. Next come the Force. They are in 5th. I think that is the same spot that they've got on the actual table. Coming off the bye, I feel like they would have liked to get a win against the Canes, so these guys were able to sit and prepare. And the Canes had to travel out to Western Australia, so I feel like, given the Canes this season's not been that fantastic, that would have been a game for the Force to really push on. It might cost them in the long run because they've got a trip to New Zealand now, but it's a draw, so it's not a loss. I did drop them a little bit in terms of the back-end points for the draw because it's a home game against a lower-ranked team, so they probably should be winning it, but there's still a couple of points, so I didn't take much off them for that. And then the Reds, coming off the bye, they've just had the bye, so that's no real change for them. Nobody's passed them or nobody has dropped below them. Top 3, Brumbies are 3rd. They are in pretty bloody good form right now. Went over to the, Moana Pacifica lads and, big bonus point win, especially good second half performance from them. Corey Toole is still lightning in the top 2. Remember, the Chiefs have just passed the Crusaders. In terms of the actual table, they're on the same amount of points, but the points difference is in the Chiefs' favour. But Chiefs are still 2nd on the power rankings. Not enough to pass the Crusaders just yet. I think the Crusaders are 3 wins on the bounce, whereas the Chiefs lost not this game but the previous one. So recent form still slightly with the Crusaders, but not much between them. Right now it looks like it probably should be Crusaders-Chiefs final, but also the Brumbies cannot be written off. And there's a bunch of other teams like the Reds, the Force, the Blues, that you feel like on their day could potentially upset. The Tars as well. They're a bit underranked here, but away from home they're genuinely pretty terrible. It's a good thing about the competition this year is you don't know who's going to roll who else. So, yeah. Those are the power rankings for round 10. Apologise for how high the Blues are. Didn't do it on purpose. It's just how the numbers came out. You guys let us know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.